All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping into a topic you definitely heard tossed around, but maybe not in the way we're going to talk about it. We're going to peel back the layers on something a lot of people write off as just a soft skill and show you the hard strategic power hiding underneath. And we'll start with the question I bet is on your mind. So, is emotional intelligence, EI or EQ, is it just some corporate buzzword for being nice? One of those fluffy, feel-good ideas that sounds great but doesn't actually do anything for the bottom line? Look, it's a fair question, and a lot of people are skeptical. But trust me, the data tells a completely different story. Get ready for this, because it's a jaw-dropper. Emotional intelligence accounts for nearly 90% of what makes exceptional leaders, exceptional, separating them from the merely average ones. That's not a soft number, is it? That is a huge, massive differentiator. We're talking about senior leaders here. For them, EI isn't just a nice-to-have, it's literally the main ingredient for success. So that leads us right to the core idea of this explainer. It's time to completely reframe how we think about this. Emotional intelligence isn't a soft skill. Nope, it is a hard, strategic capability, one that drives real, tangible results. Let's break down exactly what that means. Okay, so what is it really? At its core, EI is all about two things: perception and management. It's the ability to accurately understand what you're feeling, what other people are feeling, and then, this is the crucial part, using that information strategically. You use it to guide your thinking, to make your relationships better, and to actually achieve your goals. Now, to really get a handle on this, we're going to look at the foundational framework from Daniel Goleman. He's kind of the godfather of this stuff. He breaks EI down into 5 core components. Think of them like building blocks. They all stack on top of each other, logically, to create emotional competence. Okay, so here's how it works. It all starts with self-awareness, knowing what's going on inside you. Once you have that, you can work on self-regulation, which is controlling your reactions. Those first two, they're what fuel your internal motivation. And only when you've got that down can you really understand others. That's empathy. And then use your social skills to connect and lead. See how they're all linked? A weak link in that chain and the whole thing kind of falls apart. All right, so that's the what. We've defined it. We've broken it down. Now let's get to the so what. Why does this matter? How does this stuff actually translate into real-world outcomes? Well, the impact it has on leadership, on how teams work together, and on the whole culture of a place, it's just profound. And this is where it gets really fascinating. Think about this. If you try to predict which senior executives are going to fail using just old-school metrics like IQ and experience, you'll only be right about 24% of the time. It's basically a coin toss. But high EI? It predicts success a whopping 74% of the time. So for those top jobs, emotional competence isn't just another factor on the list. It is the game changer. So what do these high EI leaders actually do differently? Well, they're the ones who build real, deep trust. They're the ones who can steer a company through big changes without everything falling apart. They boost engagement, they make people feel included, and they create something called psychological safety. And that term right there, psychological safety, that is absolutely key. You can think of it as the secret sauce for innovation. Seriously, when a leader uses their EI to create an environment where the team feels safe enough to take risks, to mess up, to share wild ideas without being afraid of getting shut down, that is where the magic happens. That's where real creativity is born. Okay, so for anyone out there still thinking, this still sounds a little soft, this next part is for you. We are about to talk hard numbers, the real, concrete, quantifiable return on investment that emotional intelligence delivers. And believe me, the numbers do not lie. And let's be super clear here. This ROI, it's not some fuzzy, vague feeling of things are better. No, this shows up directly on the balance sheet, in productivity reports, in your employee retention numbers. Let me show you a few examples. How about we start with pure profit? A huge multinational consulting firm did a study and found that their partners who scored high on EI, they delivered a 139% incremental profit gain. That worked out to over $1 million more in profit per partner from their client accounts. Wow. Okay, or what about saving money on keeping your people? One company started hiring salespeople based on their EI. The result? A 63% drop in turnover during that critical first year. Just think about that for a second. Imagine wiping out nearly 2/3 of the costs you spend on recruiting and training new hires every year. And look at the impact on overall company performance. This is just staggering. Companies that make EI a strategic priority, they aren't just a little bit better, they are 22 times more likely to be a high-performing company. 22. That is an unbelievable competitive advantage. And this isn't just about what happens inside the company walls. It's huge for customer relationships too. Take financial advisors, for example. What's the biggest factor in a client trusting them? It's feeling like their emotional needs are being met. It's actually more important than all the other factors combined. And get this, it even affects things like safety and efficiency. There was this one manufacturing plant that trained its supervisors in these emotional skills. The result? Lost time accidents were cut in half. And formal grievances from employees? They dropped by 80%. That's a direct line from EI to a healthier, safer, and way more productive workplace. So, okay, the evidence is pretty overwhelming, right? The logical next question is, all right, I'm sold. How do I get more of this stuff? And here is the best news of all. Unlike IQ, which is relatively fixed, emotional intelligence is not. It's a skill. And like any skill, you can learn it. You can build it. For you as an individual, it all starts with some honest self-reflection. And this one's tough but crucial, actively asking for feedback. You need to see your own blind spots. Things like mindfulness or stress management, don't think of them as just wellness fluff. They are fundamental training for your emotional regulation muscles. It's like going to the gym for your brain. And for organizations, the roadmap is just as clear. You have to start hiring for EI, not just for a fancy resume. You need to put in real 360-degree feedback systems. You've got to train your people in the nuts and bolts of empathy and communication. But maybe most importantly, you need to build a culture where getting feedback is seen for what it is, a gift, a tool for growth, not something to be afraid of. Now, the most important thing to take away here is that this takes real work. You don't develop high EI by going to a one-day workshop and check in a box. It's a continuous, sustained commitment to being more self-aware and always trying to improve. But it's a commitment that has a proven, absolutely massive payoff for you and for your entire organization. So we'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. Your IQ, your raw intelligence and technical skills, yeah, that'll get you in the door. It'll get you the job. But the real question is, will your EQ let you lead the room? Because in today's world, it's that ability to connect, to inspire, and to navigate all the messy human stuff. That's what determines if you can really lead.